develop communication and leadership skills, which results in greater self-confidence and personal growth. A person's life story explain how he or she has come to be the person he or she is becoming actually. Our identity is constructed through stories. These stories communicate who we are, but also help construct in our own understanding of who we actually are. We will discuss more on this as our today's meeting is related to this. And now let me introduce you all to the president of our club. She is active member, empathetic towards, she's active listener, empathetic towards others. She's creative and her ability to inspire and convince others. She has developed strategic thinking skills in herself. She can handle and delegate responsibilities. She can motivate her team very well. Please help me to welcome our club president, Toastmaster, Gursifat Kaur Chhabra.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nipun, for such beautiful and kind words. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and your guests. First of all, I request you all to pray for world peace. Kindly open your eyes. Do you all know that 1 in 10 people suffer from neurological problem or mental health problems? Do you know that 1 in 4 children face mental health issues? You would be shocked to know that India is one of the depressed countries with high suicidal rates and 6.5% people facing mental health issues, which we don't talk much about. Last week only, I hosted an interview with Toastmaster Divya, which gave me profound insights on mental health. In India, it's not talked about when people are suffering from it. Some people found it crazy and don't acknowledge it. If you are going to a physician, it's normal. But if you're going to a therapist, is it normal? My dear friend, it's absolutely normal. If you're not feeling okay, just be vocal about it. Just talk about it. Because mental health is really as important as your physical health. And the process of healing is very long. And the people who are suffering from it, you have to be patient with them. And you have to tell them to love themselves because it's really important. So today, when you go back home, just call your friend, just call your family member, and just ask a simple question to them. Are you feeling okay today? How are you doing? Just talk to them and be a listener. Because sometimes in our life, we just go on speaking, speaking, and speaking, and we are not there to listen to people in our life, which is really, really important, and that matters. So, on that note, we have Deepak Menon sir, our immediate past international present with us. We welcome you to the club. Now
Thank you.
let's get to know our lovely guest. Kindly introduce yourself by telling who you are, what do you do, and how did you come to know about Toastmasters. We have amongst us Ritika Ahuja. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Ritika Ahuja. I am a CA. I am article at Lodha and Company, and I got to know about Toastmasters from one of my friend, and I have got myself registered with Turning Point Toastmasters Gurgaon. That's all about me. Thank you, and over to you.
Lovely to have you. We also have amongst us Shruti Singh. Could you please introduce yourself?
हेलो
Hi.
मैं ये ऑडिबल
Yes, you are.
हेलो
Shruti, you are audible.
हेलो एवरीवन
Hello.
Actually, my internet, I have an internet connectivity issue. That's why I gonna shut down my videos.
No issues. No issues. You can
My
while
purpose
doing
is
your
to join this group to just enhance my communication skill. I am working as a UI UX designer, but due to a lack of confidence while speaking in public or while attend interview, that time I stuck lots of time. I know the words and sentences, but the time when come to speak up, that time I got stuck. So the purpose is to join this group to build up my communication skill and also be very confident.
That's great. We welcome you to the club. We also have Vindit Jain. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, thanks a lot. So I'm a student. I'm a final year student of Ashoka University, and I'm currently majoring in economics and minoring in entrepreneurship. So I got to know about this club from this debate that I attended in Manchester University. So that's where I got to know about the Toastmasters club. And the first thing I did was registered myself for this meet. And then yeah, that's all about me.
That's lovely. We welcome you to
Thank you.
CDTM. We also have amongst us Harshvardhan. Could you please introduce yourself?
Good evening, Toastmaster and the other. I am Harshvardhan Sharma. I was early the member of this club, and now I am the member of DD, DTTM, and I am in the second semester of my MBA.
We welcome you back to the club. We have Bhavna Malhotra with us. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for having me here. And I would like to say, as you know, that my name is Bhavna Malhotra, and I would like to say that I'm actually a member of a Toastmaster club from Delhi Junction. There is my mentor who guided me. If you want to improve yourself, you can join multiple Toastmaster club, and you will get a lot of knowledge from it. So that's why I have joined this Toastmaster club, and I believe that I see the lot of member are there, and I will be getting a lot of knowledge from you. So that's why I have joined this club. So thank you so much for listening to me. Now I would like to give I would like to give your speech. So this stage back to you, Toastmaster. Oh, I am unable to pronounce your name. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bhavna, for joining us. We have Maninder with us. Please introduce yourself. I believe there are some network issues. We also have Akshita. Could you please introduce yourself? You're on mute.
Yeah. Hi, so I just completed my graduation from Miranda House. I completed majored in economics, and I was supposed to start with my master's, but I've deferred my applications to the next year. I heard about Toastmasters through my friend, and the reason why I joined Toastmasters is because while I don't have a problem addressing my friends or my classmates, I start stammering and I get really nervous when I speak to people, to my superiors. So I I have joined Toastmasters to improve my confidence level.
Thank you for joining us. Now, let me introduce you all to the host of the meeting, the TMOD. He is someone who is an eloquent speaker, have charismatic stage presence, also a former vice president membership. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Gaganjeet with his interesting theme, the story we tell ourselves, Toastmaster Gaganjeet Singh. Over to you.
Do you believe that stories can change your life forever? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this wonderful, wonderful meeting of 387th meeting of CDTM. A couple of weeks back, I was looking at a little boy. You know, in the times of COVID, they have no other option but to cycle with their friends. So he had this little cycle with two supporters on them. And her mother was instantly telling him that you need to get rid of those supporters now. You're a big boy now. And all he could think of was, Mama, I'm going to fall. I'm going to fall and I'm going to hurt myself really bad. But her mother somehow convinced him into believing that now he was a big boy and now he can do whatever he wants. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and now whenever he faces any challenge, you can see from afar him calling out himself that I can jump from that swing. Don't worry, guys. I'm a big boy. Don't worry, guys. I can take the lead on that one. I'm a big boy. And when you look into his eyes, you can clearly see that not only does he proclaims he's a big boy, you can see in his eyes that he believes that he is a big boy. Ladies and gentlemen, we've all had these little instances in our lives where we convinced ourselves that we were better than what we are, although there were certain reasons to tell us otherwise, but we believed and convinced ourselves that yes, we are big boys, that yes, we are big girls now. And in those instances, the stories that we told ourselves changed our lives forever. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this wonderful theme of the stories that we tell ourselves. Well, I believe that stories definitely can change someone's reality. And I asked these questions to the fellow members of our club before I was starting this meeting off, and I received certain answers. But before we jump onto that, let me just ask you all, have you ever faced a situation in your life where you thought that you told yourself a story and it worked for you? By a quick raise of hand, do you believe that stories can change your life? Can I see a quick raise of hands who believes that stories can change their lives, their reality? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 hands up, 5, 6. The second thought that arises with it is not only does if the stories have the power to change your life, shouldn't we be minding the stories that we are telling ourselves? So if I tell a certain individual that they are fat, that you're fat, you're not healthy, it is up to that individual whether they would believe that story or they would deny that story. Either they can choose to agree with me and say, yes, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm unhealthy, or they can neglect that story and tell themselves, I'm wonderful, I'm healthy, I can be healthy. And fat is just like telling anybody that they have a different kind of body. So the stories are so powerful that they can change your lives, but at the same time, we need to guard our minds with the stories that others throw at and hurl at us. So with that note, let's go forward with this meeting and learn what all our Toastmasters present in the meeting have as tips and advices for us on how do they guard their mentality, their mindset from negative outputs, and how do they keep focused on a certain mindset to guard their creative minds and create beautiful stories into their realities. So the benefit of the guests, the meeting will be divided into 4 segments. The first segment will be the prepared speeches. The second segment will be the monthly award segment, which will be taken over by our president. The third segment will be the table topic segment, wherein you'll get an opportunity to speak impromptu. And the fourth and final segment will be the evaluation segment. So with that, we have certain role players with us who will be supporting the entire meeting. So it's not a one-man show, and entire team effort goes behind it. So the first, amongst those team, we have auxiliary players. The first auxiliary player is the timer of the day. So today, the role of the timer is being played by our own VP Education, Toastmaster Dhwani. When asked, I asked Dhwani that, do you think our thoughts shape our reality? To that, Toastmaster Dhwani said that, I think our thoughts play a major role in what our actions will be. Positive thoughts are reflected in positive actions. So, with that note, let us welcome the timer of this evening, Toastmaster Dhwani.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dhwani. I will not be able to show you my face because Zoom is telling me that I have an unstable internet connection. So, I'll just dive right into what my role for today is. So, as the timer today, I will be taking down all the timings of every person that comes up into the spotlight on my screen, and I'll be providing my report at the end. But before that, let me tell you what all the timings are and what all I will be showing. So I'll be showing three cards, which will be the green card, the yellow card, and the red card. One second. I hope this is visible. So, so for the icebreaker, coming to the prepared speeches. So for the icebreaker, the green card will be shown at 4 minutes, the yellow card will be shown at 5 minutes, and the red card will be shown at 6 minutes. I'll just do a demo quickly for that. So these are the three cards. Then for the other speakers, the other two speakers, the time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. So the green card will be shown at 5 minutes, the yellow card at 6 minutes, and the red card at 7 minutes. Coming to the monthly awards. So the monthly awards segment has been distributed into 3, 4, and 5 minutes. Same goes for that. 3 minutes green card, 4 minutes yellow card, 5 minutes red card. Then for the table topic speakers, every speaker will be provided 1 to 2 minutes to speak. And for all the speakers, there is a grace period of 30 seconds on both ends. But for the table topic speakers, you will be provided a grace period of 30 seconds after 2 minutes when the red card goes up. Then we come to the speech evaluators. There is a grace period on both ends. They will be provided 2 to 4 minutes. At 3 minutes, the yellow card, and at 3 minutes, the yellow card, and especially for the table topic speakers, grace period will be provided. So for every speaker's evaluation, the evaluator will be provided 40 seconds. So that would be approximately 4 to 5 minutes. I'll show the green card at 4 minutes, yellow card at 4 minutes, 30 seconds, and red card at 5 minutes. That's all from me. Back to Toastmaster Gaganjeet, the TMOD for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhwani, for those brief and clear explanation of your role. Let's go to the next role player, which is language evaluator for this evening, which is being played by Toastmaster Karthik Bhatia. When I asked Karthik what story helps him shift from a negative mindset to a positive mindset, he says that recalling past wins in similar situations that are giving him negativity helps him from going from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. With that thought, let's welcome our language evaluator for this evening, the language evaluator Toastmaster Karthik Bhatia.
Thank you, Gaganjeet, for that introduction. Good evening to the Toastmasters. Today, we are talking about stories. I am personally a believer of the fact that the most important story in our lives is a story we tell ourselves, and we live each day to fulfill the wishes of that story. No matter how much important we think of ourselves as, we need to realize that we may at max just be a side character in someone else's story. The main character is the creator of the story itself. In stories, the words we use and the language we embody in our personalities has greater effect on how our stories turn out to be. For instance, now listen to the statements of three people who all aspire to be the CEO of a company. First person, I wish I win $1 million in a lottery so I could buy this company and be the CEO. Second, I hope all the seniors above me leave the firm so I can be the CEO. Third person, I am hoping that with hard work, I'll be the CEO in next 2 years. I assume all of you to be intelligent enough to know who amongst three is going to be the CEO. Like you have just judged the three fictitious gentlemen in my story, I, being the language evaluator, will be noting down the good usage and the not so good usage of English language and its associated grammar. We also have something called as word of the day. The word is suave. It means elegant, charming, and confident. I have already texted the word and the meaning in the chat group, so you can refer to it quickly whenever you feel like using this word. As a sign of encouragement to the speakers who are going to use this word, we will do a thumbs up. You can do it in your videos, or you can also use a virtual thumbs up like I just did. So whenever this word is used, I encourage everyone to please do a thumbs up. The medium of communication for the whole meeting will be English. If you choose to use any other language than English, uh, please translate it to English for the ease of the audience. And after noting down all the good usage, bad usage, and any kind of innovative words that we may see in the meeting, I will be submitting my report during the evaluation segment of the meeting. Thank you. Back to the Toastmaster of the day, Gaganji.
Thank you, Mr. Language Evaluator, for that suave introduction. Let's proceed with our third auxiliary role player, which is the R counter for this evening. Please welcome Toastmaster Saurabh.
Thank you, Gaganjit, for the warm welcome. So, as the R counter, I will be listening for R's and other filler words such as like, so people often use. Many people don't even notice how many times they say when speaking. It can be very distracting. So if you watch some cricket players and they drag these filler words extremely crazy, to hear the conversation in school, colleges, offices, people speaking with so many R's. For example, I think Mohit and Jerry should be engaged in some days, so I will be counting those hours carefully and giving a summary at the end of the meeting. I am warning everyone you say that word and I am going to catch it. Over to Gaganjit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saurabh, for that gentle warning and real-world examples for displaying your role. Let's move on to the fourth auxiliary role player, which is Toastmaster Nipun Ahuja as the parliamentarian. When asked him that how does he believe whether the thoughts, the stories that he has affects his reality, he says, I believe every action in us is dependent on our thoughts, how we think, the same way we act, and that creates our reality. So with that note, let's welcome the parliamentarian for this evening, that is Toastmaster Nipun Ahuja.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaganjit, for this introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Identity is constructed through stories. The stories we tell ourselves change throughout our lives, reflecting our family, background, culture, and relationship. Stories helps us explain everything in our experience, from science to relationship, from feeling to memories, from questions to objections. Every story we hear, read, or listen, our mind make cognitive and emotional connection that shape our perspective of the world. I am Nipun Ahuja and I will be playing a role of parliamentarian in today's meeting. Some of the rules of the today's meeting are: make sure that your mic is on mute once you have spoken. Mobile phone should be on silent or switched off if you are taking the meeting from laptop. Now I am giving you 10 seconds to switch off or silence your mobile phones. Thank you. Avoid crosstalks during the meeting. Avoid using negative references related to caste, gender, and politics. This is all from my side. Back to our Toastmaster day. Toastmaster Gaganji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parliamentarian. Let's move on to our next auxiliary role player. Now, this auxiliary role player is a special one. This is the listener for this evening, Toastmaster Shivali. She says that I believe our life is a reflection of our thoughts, that we should be very careful about what we think because our thoughts run our life. On that note, please welcome the listener for this evening, that is Toastmaster Shivali.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaganji. The most basic of all human needs is the need to understand and be understood. The best way to understand people is to listen to them. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Let me explain my role as a listener. So I will be listening to all the speakers carefully and framing some questions for all of you. I will ask these questions during the evaluation segment to check that how much attentive everybody was during the meeting. And whosoever will give the right answer will be considered an active listener of today's meeting. So be ready. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Madam Listener. Do we have the joke master for this evening with us, Miss? That is Toastmaster Kashish. Okay, we do.
Yes.
Joke master Toastmaster Kashish says that in the last 2 years he has felt a little fear regarding his communication skills, because of which he has missed out many opportunities which he feels could have elated his growth. He says one mantra that he uses for shifting his negative mindset to a positive one is do not quit because it's getting hard today. One day you will look back and be proud of what you did. So with that motivating note, let's welcome the joke master for this evening to tickle our ribs. Please welcome Toastmaster Kashish Jain.
Hey, thank you, Gaganjeet, for this alarming introduction. Everybody here is using smartphones, and every smartphone has some applications, and every app has some password, at least to start the app. And I do understand that my LDFC has a password, but to log in into Zomato, why do I need a password? Who is this underachiever hacker in the world who is trying to hack my Zomato? Doesn't he have any ambitions in life? Hackers of the world are hacking CBI, FBI data. And what is he getting? Oh, these days he is ordering Rajma Chawal. That too from a Chinese restaurant. This is a national threat. Throughout the day, we get a lot of passwords and OTPs, 25 passwords and OTPs in a day. That's tough. And I recently downloaded an app which reminds all my passwords. And I forgot the password of that app too. So it was tough for me. And now tell me one thing. What is the basic thing for any password? That you should remember it. But the moment you enter the first password, it said, this is weak. This is too easy. And I'm like, do we have less problems in our life that I choose this also as difficult? And you are an application, stay in your limits. Who are you to judge me? I can't. How do you know that it is easy for me? I can't remember ABC 1, 2, 3. I've lost my mind. Do you want that I put Pythagoras theorem in as a password? No, what should I do that you get satisfied? Difficult. One day I entered in Zomato 1, 2, 3. Zomato denied. It said this is easy. Then I entered Swiggy number 1 and Zomato blocked me. Is it a way? My father, our parents used to have very easy life. No OTPs, no passwords. They used to put their jewelries, expensive stuff, property papers in that VIP briefcase. Remember that one VIP briefcase which has 3-digit passwords? And our parents forgot that also. And then kids only used to try 001, 002, 003. I once did it till 999 and the password was 000. I'm not kidding. My finger got stung because of it. It's tough. And it is happening with all of us. All the passwords are like getting in, making us in a difficult situation. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kashish, for putting all smiles to our faces with that daily life conundrums we have all faced. Thank you so much. And moving on to the next segment for this evening, which is the first segment, the prepared speeches. We have 3 speakers for this evening with 3 evaluators. But before we begin, I would like to request you to do 2 things. One is to keep a piece of paper for writing feedbacks for the speakers. Maybe a sheet, a plain sheet, or a notebook with you and a pen. What you can do is write your feedback, write just 2 things. One, what you loved about the speaker did. And the second, giving them a feedback, a recommendations, what they can improve. Since feedback is the breakfast of the champions, the earlier Toastmasters have always said that, the veterans say that. So keeping up with that norm, let's provide plenty of feedbacks for our lovely speakers today. The first speaker that we have is Toastmaster Divya, who will be delivering their first project, which is the Icebreaker. Now, Icebreakers are really special because usually in a regular meeting, we used to acknowledge their first step towards their learning journey with rising up and giving them a round of applause. But the way we'll do it today is by giving them a huge round of applause while sitting once the speech has concluded. So to start with, Toastmaster Divya is a new member of a club. She is here to deliver her icebreaker. When asked, how do you think our thoughts shape our reality? She says that as Buddha once said, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Every second of our existence, we are thinking, and that process leads to who we are. We have to make sure our thoughts are in a direction of who ultimately we want to be. What a wonderful thought. Delivering her level 1 project 1 icebreaker of pathways, Toastmaster Divya Mishra is here. But first, before she begins, let's welcome her evaluator, Toastmaster Rajendra Sa, to read out the project objectives. Toastmaster Rajendra.
Thank you, our SWA Toast TMOD and my mentor, Gaganjit Singh Sethi. Good evening to all of you. Good evening to all of my Toastmaster friends and dear guests. I am Rajendra, and today I am going to play the
Rajendra, I feel we are facing some technical difficulties. Can you hear us?
Am I audible?
Yeah, yes, Rajendra. Please continue.
Thank you so much. So I will present my report at the evaluation section. So best wishes to TM Divya Mishra. Let's rock the stage.
Toastmaster.
Sorry.
Just a second. I'll introduce you. Just a second. So Toastmaster Divya says that one thing that helps her shift her from a negative mindset to a positive mindset is the story of her life. How far she has come from a zero to being a model, an actress, a voice artist, and now a public speaker and a trainer. Her overall journey inspires her. Today, delivering her icebreaker, Divya Mishra, titled The Journey of a Complicated Mind. The Journey of a Complicated Mind, Toastmaster Divya Mishra.
Thank you so much for a lovely introduction. When you show your weaknesses, you show how vulnerable you are. When you show how vulnerable you are, you show your strength. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guest. Welcome to the journey of a complicated mind. So you must be wondering, how did I get started on this? It was a one fine day I was sitting in my mathematics class, and all I could dream of was I want to be a Femina Miss India next year. I want to be an actress next year. This is all I could dream of, trying to understand what trigonometry is. But I never could understand that. Fast forwarded to me completing my graduation and then completing an acting course, I accomplished my dreams of becoming a model, an actress, and I was on the verge of becoming a star in the Gujarati film industry. Well, story changes. I was in Florida shooting for my movie, about to shoot for a beautiful song, and there was this pittish feeling inside my stomach. I couldn't fathom what exactly it was. So I told my director, "Can I take a time out?" He was like, "What happened?" I said, "I don't know. I just need some time out and some fresh air." He was like, "Okay, go ahead." I started walking towards the seashore, and the one thing I could think of at that time was that I want to end my life. It's done and it's dusted. I cannot do this anymore. I didn't know what was happening inside my mind, but I was quite deep in the water when someone pulled me out and said, "What in the world were you trying to do? Did you just attempt a suicide?" And the way he told that word, I started crying. I was crying for 4 hours straight, and I didn't know what to do. I came back to Delhi from New York, and I was in bed for 1.5 months. My dad, my mom, no one could fathom what was exactly happening to me. But one day, my dad said, "We can't see our daughter like that. Something needs to be done." He took me to a psychologist. We had number of therapy sessions, but nothing was working out. Then she told my dad, "We might need to take her to a psychiatrist." I went to a psychiatrist, and then I was diagnosed with a wonderful disease called bipolar disorder. I didn't know what was that. I asked my doctor. He said, "For a few days, you're going to be maniacally high, happy, and for a few days, you're going to be severely depressed." Oh, that's easy. Now only I have two moods, either highly happy or highly depressed. Well, that is going to work out fine because I can be productive for 50% of my time and 50% will be rest. So that's fine. Well, I'm just joking. It's not that easy. When I got diagnosed, I dealt with it for 3 years very badly. But one day I realized that I want to help people out. I want to help people who still think that mental health illnesses are, are something which you cannot share with anyone. I want to destigmatize this whole thing. So I decided that I want to start my journey as a mental health advocate. While I was doing all these things, me being a model, actor, voiceover artist, and then finally an advocate, I realized that I'm good at talking and I could be a very good public speaker. And then I searched the website. I said, "Is there any platform I could come? I can talk." And then I found Toastmasters. Well, while finding Toastmasters, I found my journey of life. I found that this is what exactly I want to do in my life. All I want to do is to talk in front of thousands of people and tell them that it's okay to not be okay. It's totally fine. It's totally okay to not be okay. And while I was doing that, I thought that I could be a trainer, teach people, and this come to such an amazing beautiful, it's not an end, it's just a start, that I started my journey as a public speaker, as a trainer, and as a coach. So this is how the journey of a complicated mind happened. It's difficult sometimes, but it's okay because I've accepted that this is how I'm going to be. And the one thing that I told myself few months back when I was starting my mental health journey is that if I'm having a mental health issue, can I be a mental health advocate? Wouldn't be like people would ask me, "Oh, you have a disease. How could you be just an advocate?" And this was the story that I told myself. And I couldn't take it. I was like, "No, this is not me. I want to do it. And I want to be a mental health advocate." And today, I have saved several lives by completing my Qpr certification, which is question, persuade, and refer. And this is basically a suicide prevention helpline where I basically work with people. So, this is my journey. This is the journey of a complicated mind. Thank you very much. Back to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
May I request everyone to switch on the cameras and microphones, and let's shower the icebreaker speech with a huge round of applause. Thank you, Toastmaster Divya, for sharing such a wonderful journey with us. I request all the other audience members to please write their feedbacks and take 30 seconds for it. You can take your feedbacks, take a picture of it, and share it over WhatsApp or email with the VPPR if you're a guest, or directly with the speaker. This way you can communicate more. This is a communication club. All right. Our next speaker for this evening is a very special person. He's not only a Toastmaster, he is a distinguished Toastmaster. DTM Asim Gupta, when asked what story helps you shift your mindset from a negative to a positive, he says that I tell myself that most people fail because they believe they will fail. So start with believing in yourself. This gives him confidence that he can figure things out on the way. Delivering his level 1 project 2 from Pathways, DTM Asim is here. But first, let's ask the his evaluator to read out the project objectives. Please welcome evaluating Toastmaster Asim Gupta, Toastmaster Janvi Kapoor.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I am Janvi, and I'll be serving as an evaluator for DTM Asim today. DTM Asim is delivering his Project 2 from Level 1 of Pathways Presentation Mastery. The title of the project is Evaluation and Feedback, and the purpose of this project is to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. Timer, please note that the time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes. I wish all the very best to the speaker. Back to you, DMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Janvi. Now the speaker has a special request for all of us. He has requested that we all switch on our cameras so that he can, I don't know what he has planned for us, but I would request on his behalf to please switch on your cameras. All right now. So DTM Asim, self-talk, DTM Asim.
Mr. Toastmaster, if you can confirm that I am audible and visible before I begin. Great. You probably can't do this. You will fail. You are not good enough. Has this ever happened to you? You're about to make a critical decision, a big decision. You're about to do something that really matters to you. You're about to quit your job. You're about to propose to your better half. You're about to buy a house. Anything. Close your eyes for a moment and picture that one decision that you're stuck on. Picture that one scenario that's bothering you the most right now. Picture that one dream that is not yet that is not yet fulfilled. Open your eyes and think, what does your mind tell you when you think about taking some actions? It's probably one of those three things. I am no different. I have the same problem with my self talk. This guy on, on my left is this little voice in my head which tells me that I'm not good enough. In 2018, I was working as a content writer, a social media manager, and I thought I wanted to experiment and start my own business and help people build personal brands and go into influencer development. And right when I was about to quit my job, and every time I went into a client meeting, the same thought would pop into my head. You're just a 23-year-old guy. Who's going to hire you? What if you fail? What if you lose money for clients? You don't know anything. You don't know enough to start a business. You don't know enough about your craft. So much of mental noise in my head. This little voice in my head made me feel this small. And I gave up midway. 3 months in, I just gave up. I called it quits. I went and looked for another job. And it was something that I still sometimes not able to find the courage for doing. I remember being utterly disappointed, and I remember myself going into this uh, crazy mode where I was like, I will read digital marketing, I will read about business, I will do this, I will do this, I will fill this gap, that gap, just all of these things, but not actually able to do any of these things, not actually able to move forward with my dream. It was in 2019 that I met Sam. Sam is a very special guy in my life. He has his own story. In 2006, he was driving in Australia and he fell asleep at the wheel and had a head on collision with a truck at a very high speed. He lost his arm and one of his legs had to be amputated. He, when I met him, he was wearing a bionic foot, a bionic arm, and when I met him, he was addressing a crowd of 500 people and he was sharing his story on stage. He he talked about how he was at this point in his life where nothing could have been worse, and how he turned it around and started a business and started helping people day in and day out. And today, he's a global level influencer, a global level speaker, and a trainer. Sam became my mentor, and he gave me the belief that what I needed to do was master my self talk before I did anything else. Because think about it. If you've ever given a speech at Toastmasters, you probably been worried. What if I miss this? What if I forget? What if people don't like my speech? What if they laugh at me? If I'm giving a humorous speech, what if they don't laugh? All of these things, all of these concerns, this is a little voice in your head making all that noise and stopping you. It makes you feel this small. It makes you believe that you are destined to fail, that nothing is going to go right. So, master your self talk. How do you do this? See, whenever I realized that whenever I made a decision, it was all of these things came into my head. And what you do is you become this guy on the right. You become the big guy and make this your small voice. Control it. And how do you control it? You listen to it, but you don't act on it. It's not something that you have to do just once and it stops. It happens with me daily. Even today at 3 p.m., when I was asked to give a speech title for this speech, I thought of backing out. I've done this 100 times, but I still feel nervous. If you notice me during the meeting, I was just doing this. I'm trying to psych myself up because I'm still nervous and shaking in my legs that I will forget. That self-doubt still comes in. But what I've done is I've mastered my self-talk. Sometimes this happens. I know what to say to myself. I believe that I fail if I believe that I fail. That means if you're worried about forgetting, chances are you will forget. If you're worried about failing, you will probably fail. So when the self-talk comes in, stop it right there. Listen to it and then just let it go. It's a conscious practice, but that's where the journey begins. It's not technical. It's the story that you tell yourself that stops you. So flip the script and tell yourself, whatever it is, I will figure it out. Because the most important thing is what you are saying about you. And if that is in place, you are destined for success. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Asim, for that wonderful speech. I would request the audience member to please take 30 seconds to write your feedbacks. All right. Our next speaker for this evening is speaker number 3, Toastmaster Gajendra. When asked what story helps him shift his mindset from a negative to a positive one, he says that everyday life stories of people who work hard consistently and never inspire him to do and help others with his best abilities. Especially in this pandemic time when most of the people lost their jobs and livelihood and are bouncing back to succeed, that gives him a lot of courage and strength. Toastmaster Gajendra is here to deliver his level 3 speech from dynamic leadership, that which is to inspire his audience from the manual pathways. But before he begins, let's hear it from his evaluator. I would request Toastmaster Digant Mittal to read out the project objectives of Toastmaster Gajendra. Digant Mittal.
Thanks, Toastmaster Gaganjeet. So, having such a nice TMOD and such a nice speaker is always a treat. And so is the treat that I'm evaluating such a nice project to inspire your audience. The purpose of the speech is for the member to inspire audience as well as to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. Timer, please note that time allotted for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. I will note down my observations and will be presenting my report in the evaluation segment when called upon by a general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Digant. Toastmaster Gajendra Khare. Empower yourself and get rid of internet addiction. Empower yourself and get rid of internet addiction. Toastmaster Gajendra Khare.
Thank you. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. How many of you are parents? Raise your hand. Do you feel happy within yourself when your child excels in his or her life? Isn't it? Of course, yes. If you are not a parent, even you succeed in your life and do all excellent thing in your life, it is an awesome feeling when you succeed and your parents feel better, right? So many things changes in our life when we become more successful. Abraham Maslow once said, what is necessary to change a person is to change his awareness of himself. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests,
3.6 billion people uses internet technology around the world. It comes under half of the population of the world. Today, internet plays a vital role in our life and in our success. It becomes imperative for all of us to understand whether we are using this technology wisely or not, or we are addicted to the internet and ruining our life because of the bad use of this amazing technology. We all remember our childhood days and its sweet memories, but I was not that lucky as compared to today's generation and the people born especially after the 90s era. Why? Because when I was a student, there was no internet and no mobile phone. The only way to send a message to my mom when I was staying in a hostel, just to write a letter on a postcard and to inform her about my well-being. And for my mom, praying to the God was the only medium to ensure my safety at distant location. Since then, time and also our life has changed drastically. It has internet become a significant improvement in all the areas. So today I'm not discussing about the usage of internet, whereas I am going to talk about the addiction of the internet. So the question arises, what is the addiction to the internet? So what is the addiction? If you are excessive using social media, or you are a compulsive buyer, or you are using shopping wisely, there could be a lot of symptoms when you are using and you cannot avoid, and it start interfering in your daily life, relationship, work, and so many things in your life. Then you have a problem, and then you are suffering from the internet disorder. What I want to point out, recently I come across a story, the real life story, one of my friend's son, whose name is Mr. Atul, who is in his 20s and is a very handsome and charming guy, and his final year of graduation in Delhi. Atul is the only son of his parents, and both of their parents are working parents. When Atul was a very bright student till the 8th standard and loved by everyone in his school, participating in cultural activities, games, etc. His grades were very good, and suddenly his grades start dropping. He lost interest in studies and games, and that trend continues till now. His parents worried. What happened to his loved kid, Atul? Why he's behaving in such a way? Why he's unhappy? Why he's lost? He even can't focus on his day-to-day activities, and he can plan his activities, and he cannot do the age of his age people are doing. And he was suffering lot of problems, mental issues in his behavior. And one night, Atul start crying, and impatiently he was crying. The tears were dropping in his eyes, and he told his mom, "Mom, please save my life. I don't want to live. My thoughts and my visualization are killing me. I can't control my thoughts. My thoughts are killing me. I doesn't want to live anymore. I want to commit suicide." And that was the eye-opening moment for his mother. Then recently they realized then why he is doing so, and then he told, and that fact was very shocking. At the tiny age of 13 or 14, his friend introduced Atul to the pornographic content. And since then, he was watching this internet even in a school toilet, in his home, wherever he was found himself alone. And then his mind stopped working. He lost his senses, and he would start living in a depression and anxiety. And now, with the help of the doctor or the medication, and he told his parents, thank God, and then he is improving every day. This is not the story of Atul. There are many people are addicted to the internet, not only for the pornographic content, but for the impulsive buying. Like my younger son has recently got into the habit of playing PUBG. He is a 7th grade student. When his mother is feeding his roti and sabji, he is playing PUBG. And that was eye-opening, and I give him a environment to study, and I limit his time not to play and this to be addict of this game. Like the cyber online relationship, many young crowd are hanging on Tinder and other dating app and chat sites where old men chat with the young girl and young boy chatting with aunties with their fake and concealed identity. Online relationship addicts are deeply involved in finding and maintaining relationship online, often forgetting and neglecting the real life friends. Many more things are like there. And what are the symptoms? Dishonesty, feeling of guilt, anxiety, isolation, defensiveness, mood swing, fear. And in physical habits also, you might be having the backache, carpal tunnel syndrome, headache, and insomnia. Lot of things you might be suffering, weight loss, and you are ignoring even the personal hygiene as well. I feel to suggest that if you feel any such symptom, then you have to immediately told to your friend or anyone to whom you love. And you have to discuss this problem immediately. Maybe you might be ruining your life. Dear fellow Toastmaster, we call ourselves educated and intelligent, but why we are weak in changing our deep-rooted bad habits? Why it is that internet is so easy to access and fun, but why it is difficult to get rid of this addiction? Let this end with us. Let's begin this ending today, right now, right here. Let's begin this ending and stop internet addiction. How you can do that? You can limit your time to the internet access. You can avoid triggers. You can take counseling. I believe, let us give a life-changing gift. Can't be swayed for the wide use of internet. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gajendra, for sharing with us the psychological consequences that goes behind internet addiction and some truly actionable ways we can handle them. I would request the audience members to please write down their feedbacks. Take 30 seconds for it. And meanwhile, I'll ask the tech team to please help me with the ballots. How do we do that on the virtual meeting? Okay, so all of you might be seeing a ballot for the best speaker on your screens. I will request the audience to please cast their ballots. We have 3 speakers. One is Toastmaster Divya Misra. Second is DTM Asim Gupta. Third is Toastmaster Gajendra.
We are done with the votes, Toastmaster Gaganjeet. Thank you.
Thank you, Karamveer. I hope all of you have written down your feedbacks for all of our 3 speakers today. I would like to re-emphasize today that feedbacks are truly, really an important part of a speaker's journey. I would request all of you, if you have written your feedbacks, individually take pictures of your feedback and pass it on to the speakers directly over WhatsApp so that they can use and learn from your feedback. If you don't have the numbers of the speaker, the contact details, you can get in touch with the VP membership. You can pass them the feedback to the VP membership or the VP peer. They'll help you pass on the feedbacks to the speakers. Now, moving on to the next session that we have. That's a very interesting session, which is the monthly award segment. This will be spearheaded by our very own president, Toastmaster Gursiffat. When I asked Gursiffat, how do you think our thoughts shape our reality? She says, our thoughts are very well shaped. Our thoughts very well shape our reality. If we have a positive thought in the morning and we write a gratitude journal, we'll have a relatively positive day. Getting up in the morning with stress and anger will lead to comparatively negative day. We need to plant the seeds of positivity around in order to attain happiness and stay in bliss. With that beautiful message, let's begin with the monthly award segment. Please welcome the president of CDTM, Toastmaster Gursiffat Kaur.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gaganji. Good evening once again to all of you. Can anybody confirm me if they can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Karanveer. It takes dream to get started, desire to keep it going, and determination to finish. To honor and reward the people and the members of the club who have been dedicated, perseverant, and disciplined throughout the month of November, the EC has come up with a few awards that I would like to distribute today. So, all of the members are eligible for this award except the president and the 3 VPs, that is VP Ed, VP PR, and VPM. So, let's start with the very first award. It's the Screamer of the Month award. It's given to someone who has helped the VPPR with designing posters and writing contents. They have also showcased the learning of Toastmasters with on the social media platform so that other people can learn through it. It goes to Toastmaster Ishna Jain. Next award we have Commemorative Month award. It is given to someone who has been regular to the meeting throughout, hasn't missed any of the meetings of Toastmaster. He has introduced many guests to the world of Toastmasters and helped them in joining the club. It is given to our treasurer, Toastmaster Karthik Bhatia. Third award we have the of the Month award. It is given to a person who has been regular throughout the meeting, has performed auxiliary role players to the main role players like TMOD, general evaluation, and also has handled the backouts at the end. It is given to our treasurer again, Toastmaster Karthik Bhatia. Next award, we have the Burning Nurture of the Month. Well, it's an award which is given to a person who hasn't delivered the icebreaker in the month of November. That person has performed auxiliary role players and has performed in table topics. It is given to Toastmaster Divya Mishra. Next, we have Out of the Box Nurture of the Month award. It is given to someone who has been creative and innovative with the roles and presentations. That person has put in a lot of efforts of creativity. It is given to Toastmaster Janvi Kapoor. Last, we have Member of the Month award. It is given on the basis of accumulation of all the points. It is given to our treasurer again with all the points up. Congratulations, everyone. You have performed really well. Kudos to all of you. Let's have a huge round of applause. Kindly open your cameras and unmute yourself because I want to have a huge round of applause for everyone. Thank you so much. Back to Toastmaster Gaganjeet.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gosifat, for that suave delivery and keeping the session crisp. Moving on to our third segment for this evening, which is the table topics segment. Now, this segment is very close to my heart. I love any opportunity that I get to speak, and that too an impromptu speech, the bang on buck for me. I would jump into anything that will give me an opportunity to speak. So this session is a real special one. And to help us with understanding what this session is all about, we have our very own Toastmaster, Pooja Kharbanda, which will help us in sharpening the skills of impromptu speaking. Please welcome your table topics master for this evening. That is Toastmaster Pooja Kharbanda.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, my fellow Toastmaster and dear guests. Welcome to the table topic segment. I am Toastmaster Pooja Kharbanda, playing the role of table topic master. This segment is all about impromptu speeches where everyone can participate, whether guest or any other member. Do you know what is the biggest regret in life? It is not the failure that we have faced, but it is the opportunity which is knocking on our door, but we have missed it. The purpose of joining Toastmaster for most of us is to influence with our speech. As far as I know, that we all have joined this platform that is by choice rather than by chance. Again, an opportunity is calling you. Throw off your hesitation to come out of your inner shell and express yourself. Who knows that you would be the winner of today's table topic segment? So I have come up with very wonderful topics. You just need to raise your hand and I will select a person, and the person will pick up a number that will be out of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Whichever topic he will get, he has to speak on that for 1 to 2 minutes. 30 seconds will be given on upper side. I hope it's clear to everyone. So let's begin this segment. So, any volunteer for the first one? Any volunteer for the first topic? Yeah, CA Rajendra Shah. Now, tell me the number out of 5.
4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just sharing my screen. Yes. The topic is the pain of yesterday is the strength of today. The pain of yesterday is the strength of today.
Thank you, TTM Pooja Kharbanda. Thank you so much for such a beautiful topic. And I will ask to all of you, just to remind yourselves, think that whatever your thought process, whatever maturity, whatever your understanding about right now is just because of your positive incidents or negative incidents. Just of the person around you with the positive environment, just because of the negative people or who tortured you, who always try to push you, who always try to something make you embarrassment. I'm sure most of the time we learn from our bad experiences. So that is really that study pain is always a good teacher for us. So it is very, even in my life I have failed lots of time in my life, and even on daily basis we experience failure in life. If we target to wake up at 5 a.m. 6 a.m. but we don't achieve our target, so it is also a small failure. From that only we learn and we move on. So I think accordingly we have to take that learning from our life. So that's all from my side. Thank you, Pooja Kharbanda. Thank you so much.
Thank you. A very insightful thought. So let's move to the second one. Any volunteer for the second topic for the day? Yeah, that I can see Mr. Vandit Jain.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm sharing the screen. Yeah, if you carry your childhood with you, if you carry your childhood with you, you never become older.
That's actually a brilliant topic to talk about. Thanks a lot. I do actually feel if you carry your thoughts, if you carry your childhood thoughts with you, you will actually never become older, because once you start, so whatever past experiences you had in your childhood, and you act according to whatever you used to think in your childhood, and you don't really, you actually have to be mature. You have to actually accommodate all of the different situations that you encounter in your life as you become older. But however, when you think about all your childhood experiences, and you think about whatever you faced in your childhood, and whatever thoughts you had in your childhood, and you actually implement those thoughts right now, is actually, that's what motivates me with the fact that you actually would never become older, though you are older. But it's actually an oxymoron, kind of an oxymoron, where you actually are older, but if you carry your thoughts which you actually faced in your childhood, you never become older. That's what I think.
Very well said. Yeah, childhood memories are unforgettable. Memories give us smile every time. So, any volunteer for the next one? Yeah, Hartika Ahuja, I can see your hand. So I'm sharing. Yeah, Hartika, I'm just a minute. I'm sharing screen. Push yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. Push yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. So your time starts now.
Thank you, Table Talk Master, for such wonderful topic. Push yourself because no one else is going to do that for you. Whatever you want to achieve in your life, you have to do that by yourself. No one else is going to push you or make you remember that you have to achieve this, you have to achieve this. You have to go by yourself. It is your only mindset that someone may help you. Sometimes we feel that the other person might help us, but this is not the case. Achieving something is not cakewalk. You have to be precise about your dreams. Like, I will share my example. I wanted to do CA. I have to do CA. I have to study myself. I have to make notes for me, make timetable, and work accordingly. Not even my parents. Sometimes they can just, what they can do is motivate me to do better, but they can't do at my place. If I want to do something good, I have to do that. I have to make it a point in my mind that I have to make it very clear to be precise about the topic. Like, I wanted to learn to drive a car. I started learning to drive a car 3 years ago. On the very first day, I met with an accident. Then, but the thought in my mind was that I want to learn the car no matter what happens. I left to drive the car for almost 2 years. But thanks to this lockdown, coronavirus, I was back at my home and I made it very clear that I want to learn to drive a car. This time again, on the very fifth or sixth day, I met with an accident. But this time I made it clear that I want to do it no matter what happens. And today I can drive a car I can drive the car wonderfully. So that's all from my side. Thanks, and over to you, Table Topic Master.
Wonderfully, you have explained this idea. Now it is explained with full of example too. So moving to the next one. Now, any volunteer for the next topic? That is the gun method.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a minute. One loyal friend is worth more than 1,000 fake ones. So topic is one loyal friend is worth more than 1,000 fake ones. Your time starts now.
All right. Can you put this down? It might
Yeah,
distract me.
yeah.
All right. So one loyal friend puts thousands of fake ones down. This I noticed since my hostel days itself, since I was in one of the elite schools of India. And there we were so much loyal to each other that even if one of our friends might break head of another one, the guy will never say that a person hit him. He will only say that, sir, I just fell down from bed and that's why I got my head broken. This was so much loyalty. And it reminds me of the time when I was in hostel and I have to shift to another hostel where most of my friends were there. And since space was not there, so I had to content myself with shifting to, I would say, servant's quarter, because I didn't want to live in my earlier hostel. And as I came back from dinner, I heard a knock on the door. My friend said, Digant, pack up your bags. We have a space ready for you. And that moment, I realized what the loyalty is. Most of the people at some of the biggest companies like Fortune 500 companies, etc., I notice, and this is a genuine thing, that they don't care about how much business you are getting them. They don't care about how much political contacts you might be having. They don't care about how much handsome you might be, but they only care about one thing: how much loyal you are. And this has been ingrained in my DNA ever since that time. With this, I end my words. Thank you.
Very well said. It is truly, I agree to it, a friend in need is a friend indeed. A big round of applause for everybody who has participated and taken up this challenge. So that's over from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Can we have a huge round of applause for the table topic master who has just conducted this session in such an elegant way? Please. Thank you, Toastmaster Pooja. Let's proceed to our final and fourth segment for this evening, which is the evaluation segment, which we've all been eagerly waiting for. Conducting this evaluation segment is our very own Toastmaster Rishabh. When I reached out to Toastmaster Rishabh and asked what all stories he has been telling himself, he came back with a very simple reply. He said, "Hi Gaganjeet," and he has not yet replied to any of my messages as of yet. So there has been stories going on in my head, but instead of telling those stories to you, I would request Rishabh to help us understand what all stories he has been cooking up in his head with his session of evaluation. Please welcome Toastmaster Rishabh Kumar.
Well, once again, hi Gaganjeet and everyone. Welcome to Sandalay Toastmaster Club. Once again, this is the general evaluation section and this is the general evaluator speaking. All right. Have you all heard about that elephant story in a circus? You know, a very small elephant. So what the circus owner does, the circus owner tied that elephant with a rope. Now this elephant is too small that it cannot break the rope. So now even when this elephant has grown bigger, it still cannot break the rope because somewhere it feels that it cannot break the rope. Right. Now what if someone just go near to that elephant and tell that elephant that you can easily break the rope by just putting a little weight on the rope? That elephant can easily break the rope. Ladies and gentlemen, similarly, the same people play the role in our life, the people who give feedback to us. When people give the feedback, they tell us about the good things, tell us about the not so good things, they recommend us, and their recommendation can really help us in breaking the ropes of our life, in breaking the barriers of our life, specifically in the field of public speaking. As well said by Toastmaster Gaganjeet, feedback is a breakfast of the champion. The feedback can really help you in becoming a better public speaker. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So today, in this general evaluation section, we'll be starting. Being a general evaluator. I will be evaluating the meeting and commenting upon the good things and the not so good things that happen in today's meeting. And this is something I won't be doing it alone. I will be doing it with the help of the speech evaluators and with the help of all the auxiliary role players. All right, to get the spices and butter, it's time to welcome the speech evaluators. And to start with the speech evaluation, I would like to call the first evaluator who will evaluate the speech of the first speaker. So please help me welcome the first evaluator, Toastmaster Rajendra Shah, who will evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Divya Mishra. So over to you, Toastmaster Rajendra Shah.
Thank you, General Evaluator Rishabh Kumar. I just want to confirm that am I audible and even visible to all of you?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. So, yeah, it's okay. It's okay if you have failed again and again in life. It's okay if you have lost everything in life. It's okay if you had a bad experience of life in past. But not okay is locking yourself in one room and start pressurizing and doubting yourself. Getting stuck somewhere in life and staying there. You are staying somewhere where you are not valued and appreciated. Once again, good evening to all Toastmaster friends and dear guests. I see Rajendra Shah going to present my report for ice-breaking speech delivered by Toastmaster Divya Mishra. Divya Mishra delivered a marvelous speech on such a beautiful topic that is journey of complicated life. A speaker was prepared and very much saw while delivering a speech, which is appreciable part. As a speaker is an actress, so she used eye contact to convey emotion and elicit response. Although the topic was a little bit serious and related to personal life of a speaker, but a speaker There was a smile on a speaker's face during their speech, which was like cherry on cake. So the purpose of the project was for the speaker to introduce herself to the club and they learn the basic structure of public speech and get feedback from members and implement same in future speeches. So I hope to listen more such a beautiful speeches from Divya Misra, Toastmaster, and best of luck for future. Thanks to all of you.
All right, thank you so much, Toastmaster Rajendra, for such a crisp evaluation. And it's time to call the second evaluator of our meeting. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Janvi Kapoor, who will evaluate the speech of DTM Asim Gupta. So over to you, Toastmaster Janvi.
Thank you so much, Master Richard. You will fail. You can't do this. The moment I heard these words from the speaker, I could actually establish the connect then and there, and I became curious as to know that what the speaker has in place for us today. After which, he asked the audience to close their eyes and imagine along with him. So what did he do? He basically made a connect with the audience right in the beginning of the speech. So kudos to the speakers for establishing a very great connect with the audience and for a great catchy start. Moving forward, he started his speech and he added a little more to the content of his speech, and his content was full of his personal anecdotes. The icing on the cake was great usage of the English language. For example, he used good words, for example, amputated, and he used the phrase flip the script. So these little tools, when we add them in our speech, they enhance the content of our speech. Thirdly, he delivered the content of his speech in a splendid way by using his hand gestures and by making the right pauses to enhance the delivery. For example, he made the right pause by saying, master your self-talk, after which he took a short pause, which enhanced the delivery of his speech. Also, he utilized the background feature of the Zoom application aesthetically. Now, not being perfect keeps giving us an opportunity or a room to improve. So, on that note, I have a few recommendations for the speaker. The first one is that I felt that there was not a proper eye contact with the camera. For example, since we are delivering our speeches virtually, it's important that we look in the camera so that the audience feels that there is an eye contact with them. So I felt that the eyes were not in looking in the camera, which was a bit distracting for me. Secondly, I feel that the speaker could have added a little facial expressions and voice modulation while delivering the dialogue. For example, he said, if that is in place, you are destined for success. He could have said, if that is in place, you are destined for success. And he could have added a smile, which would have enhanced the ability. Secondly, I felt that the hands were moving a bit out of the background, so it was a bit distracting for me. All in all, the speaker presented a great speech with a very great lesson for us to carry home with ourselves and with his little tidbits of personal anecdote, which further enhanced the speech and a soft delivery. So looking forward to listen more speeches from the speaker. Back to you, Toastmaster Rishabh.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmaster Janvi, for such a wonderful evaluation. And now it's time to call the third speech evaluator. So, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, please help me welcome Toastmaster Digant Mittal, who will evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Gajendra Khare. Over to you, Toastmaster Digant.
Thanks, Mr. General Evaluator. So I read somewhere just few minutes back that best meal for the day is breakfast. Having a nice breakfast prepares a man as well as a woman for a nice and suave start of the day. Same thing happened with me when I listened to such an engaging start by the speaker when he asked the question, and the question was not just a standalone question. it resonated with all the things that were being told by a speaker later in his speech. Apart from this, the speaker was very well confident on the stage, on the screen, I would say. Apart from this, I have certain recommendations for the speaker so that he can take this speech to another level. First recommendation is I suggest that vocal variety or voice modulation can be improved. I noticed that in certain areas, speaker was saying tears started dropping. It can be said like tears started dropping, like in a sad way, tears started dropping, something like that. Because these things convey emotions. These things convey emotional appeal, which strengthens the inspirational content in the speech. Apart from this, pace of speaking was also fast. I noticed that pace of speaking was also fast. My second recommendation is that I suggest that message can be made much more inspiring by having a call to action, by specifically asking audience to do something, like saying that I ask all of you, in order to have a better future, we should start avoiding unnecessary usage of internet. Adding benefits of audience along with a call to action makes a call to action strong, which makes it much more inspiring. Apart from this, I have recommendations, special commendations for the speaker for the fact that he used descriptive language in his story, which made it much more strong. Using descriptive language helps not only speaker but also audience also, since audience can imagine the things, audience can laugh, cry, smile by usage of descriptive language. All in all, apart from this, just I would say that this story by speaker regarding his friend Atul's son created a strong connect with the speaker himself. All in all, it was marvelous speech. Just I would recommend working upon voice modulation and making a good strong call to action would take it to another level. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmaster Dian. And now it's time to move to our table topic evaluator, and for which I would like to welcome Toastmaster Karanveer Singh. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Anil. Come on, let's do this. But what if I cannot speak? But what if something doesn't come up? What if I won't tell? But that's okay, na? Let's try it. Let's go ahead and raise our hand. That's something every table topic speaker did today. That's the story they tell themselves. Just confirming if I'm audible because my internet connection says unstable. Thank you. So today we had 4 table topic speakers. All of them were courageous to raise their hands and take up this opportunity. Our first speaker was Toastmaster Rajendra Saha, and the topic was the pain of yesterday is a strength of today. The speaker caught my attention right there and then when he asked me, think about your life and if your positive experiences had more impact or the negative ones. He caught my attention right there. He used his hand gestures effectively and connected to all of us really well by talking about multiple failures and how they all contribute to what we are today. He amazingly connected some of the stories, the anecdotes he had from his experiences to enhance the topic around that. One recommendation for the speaker would be, since he concluded his speech right there and then when the green card was raised, he could have utilized that time to add a personal story and build the topic around it. So that's one recommendation to the speaker. Other than that, he was fantastic in delivering his idea around the topic. Our next speaker was Vandit Jain, and the topic was, if you carry your childhood with you, you never become older. I loved the topic personally, and I really wanted to go and speak out on this. When Vandit started speaking on this, I was amazed. He immediately picked up the topic and started right there and then, and told about his experiences and what he thinks about table topics of the table topic of if you carry your childhood and his experiences. One recommendation for the speaker is, since he too utilized less time, he ended at green card, he could have built a story. I felt somewhere the way he spoke, his thoughts jumped from one place to another. The thoughts weren't connected in a series. So you can take a moment and connect the thoughts in a series. This way you will utilize your time well, as well as deliver an effective table topic. Our next table topic speaker was Toastmaster Harita Ahuja, and the topic was push yourself because no one else is going to do that. Toastmaster Harita, you impressed me with the way you delivered your examples. I love the fact that you sprinkled those examples, because examples are something that help us to relate very well. Your hand gesture, your expression on your face while you were talking to the camera really made me connected. You were motivating, and the examples of driving a car and about CA, we all felt, of course, relatable to that. The speaker, I felt, utilized the time well, but could have given a better conclusion, maybe a takeaway message or something, so that the topic concludes well and we have something to take away. Other than that, you were fantastic. Last table topic speaker, Toastmaster Digant. One loyal friend is worth more than 1,000 fake ones. He immediately started with that hostel story, and I immediately got connected to our hostel days. I'm sure we all must have imagined for a while how we lived in a hostel and how were our friends. So that's the power of a speaker, to make people think about something. So very well done on that part. So he also used voice modulation in some areas to emphasize his message, emphasize the way the when he started to move from that hostel to some other place, how his friends helped him, and how loyal things are between friends. He, of course, utilized his time really well and concluded the things well in time. Now, what I recommend for the speaker is, when you started immediately with your hostel days. You can take a moment and ask the audience a question, or add a quote, or add a hooker, so that people start. Do you remember your hostel days? Take a moment, take a pause, let people imagine their hostel days, and then start with your story. So that way, your hostel story might have created an extra impact than it has done right now. So I wish all the speakers all the very best for their future speeches, and everyone in the audience. Let's make sure that next time the table topic session happens and we are asked to raise our hands, we tell ourselves the right story, that it's okay, let's go ahead and try this for once, and let's see later what happens. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmaster Karanveer, for such a nice table topic evaluation. I would request all the audience that these were the speech evaluators and the table topic evaluators. So let's have a big round of applause for all of them. All right, so it's time to vote for the best speech, best evaluator. So hence I would request the tech master to kindly present the voting ballots on the screen. And here the nominations are. We'll be taking a pause for a small. We can vote for the best. Toastmaster Karanveer, let me know when we are done.
We are done with the voting, Toastmaster Rishabh.
All right, so it's time to move forward, and it's time to move forward with the auxiliary role play reports. So it's time to call. I would like to call the first language evaluator, Toastmaster Karthik Bhatia. Over to you, Toastmaster Karthik Bhatia.
Well, today we had, I would say honestly, I'm amazed by the fact that we had very less bad grammatical errors today. Of course, we had a few in the table topic session, but I think it's too harsh and too unfair to judge the table topics session with the grammatical viewpoint. In the introduction, I really found the speakers were very poetic. I think may have caused Rumi to really spin in his grave tonight. A few instances. Let's guard ourselves from the stories people throw at us. Stories that connect us from feelings to memories, questions to objections. Our thoughts should be in the direction we want to be. And yes, one very short phrase, flip the script. Very catchy, very catchy. Flip the script. Even the table topic master was no short in being poetic with her topics. Most that I liked was push yourself because no one else is going to. Then also the general evaluator set the context right by talking about the rope, saying break the rope multiple times, and that just enhanced how you really do, or what is the importance of being a general evaluation. And all right, we definitely had some bad usages. Uh, the host of the meeting said, we thought we convinced ourselves to be good boys and bad boys, or the good boys rather. We thought we believed we were good boys. I think using this repetitive section really sort of implies the message, but sort of overburdens it as well. So could be worked. Coming to a few grammatical errors that we had, a speaker said 3.6 billion people uses internet. It should be 3.6 billion people use internet. A fair usage. Then the boy in the story while narrating said, "I come across." Rather, the narrator or the boy in the story was talking about a story in the past. It should have been, "I came across." Then again, there was a bad usage by where the speaker said, "Atul, start crying." There was not instruction being given to the person to start to cry now. Uh, it's a narration of an event, so it has to be Atul starts crying. All right, we had good words as well. One was couldn't fathom, really great word. I think saying words like couldn't fathom, couldn't gulp, they really enhanced the quality of a speech. There was a small slip of the tongue from being maniacally high. Uh, I was astounded by listening to it maniacally high, but then yes, it was maniacally happy. This garners this garners commendation, not recommendation. Then destigmatized was one good word. Then I must commend one speaker for using content myself. We Indians have a habit of using satisfied a lot more in our speeches than using things like content myself. A great usage. Then one of the speakers used like a classical drop with words to narrate the story, where the speaker said, "Sam is a great guy," and you're really all of a sudden you're thinking about good things about a good person, and then he takes us to the ghastly accident. Says suddenly he fell asleep and had a head-on collision with a trunk. These are the moments that you really remember in a speech, even if you don't have the voice modulation, just putting in a drop of being a great thing to the real bad thing. So a great usage of the figure of speech there. There was one mispronunciation where the speaker said insomnia. It's insomnia. Just a correction on the pronunciation there. Again, a good usage was it resonated with the speech. A good word being used, and these words really enhance the quality of the speech. It's not just about getting the message. I know you are really praising the speaker, but if you use these words, the persona catches of how you are praising. And as for the word of the day, we have the word was used 5 times. The word swap was used 5 times. To be honest, I must say, if I was expecting Shakespeare to be sent over the moon, Shashi Tharoor it is then. Thank you. Back to the general evaluator.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmaster Karthik, for such a deep evaluation and you sent such an amazing language evaluator report. And so this was the language evaluator of today's meeting, and now it's time to call the R counter. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Toastmaster Saurabh Bindal, who will be delivering the R counters report. Over to you, Toastmaster Saurabh.
Hello, everyone. Yeah. Thank you, Rishabh. Hello, everyone. Let's start with Toastmaster Gaganjeet Singh. Gaganjeet Singh used 5 times one time so, convinced her, convinced him. So it should be either convinced her or convinced him. From two times, our thoughts two times. Then Toastmaster Dhwani use one time then Toastmaster Karthik use six time a. Then Toastmaster Nipun use one time a. Toastmaster Shivali use one time a. Toastmaster Kashish use two times a, one times one time so. Basic thing two times. My father, my parents. So it should be either my father or my parents. Then come to Toastmaster. Then come to prepared speeches. First is Toastmaster Divya Mishra. She use one time it two times, our two times, D signify two times. Then come to Toastmaster Asim Gupta. That is not yet two times, on two times. Then Toastmaster Gajendra Khare. One time so two times. Then come to evaluation section. Toastmaster Rajendra Shah use one time confused with actor or actress, so it should be either actor or actress, and repeat public speech two times. Then Toastmaster Janvi Kapoor use one times Toastmaster Digant Mittal so one time. Recommendation, my special recommendation, so it should be my special recommendation. So it's a repetition basically. Then come to table topics. Toastmaster Pooja Kharbande used three times so. Toastmaster Rajendra one time who two times. Then guest Vandit Chan, you know three times, you have two times, and you two times. Then toast guest Hartika five times you have to achieve this two times. I have to two times. Then Toastmaster Digant Mittal use two times Then Toastmaster Karanveer Singh, your table topic session is perfectly fine. Then Toastmaster Rishabh, your session is also perfectly fine. So that's over to Rishabh Kumar. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmaster Saurav, for such a detailed report. All right, so it's time to call the parliamentarian of today's meeting. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Nipun Ahuja. Over to you, Toastmaster Nipun.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Now let me submit my report. Meeting went very well. No negative references were used related to caste, gender, and politics during meeting. Also, there were no cross talks during the meeting. Certain moments, background sounds by audience were there, which should be avoided, and some connectivity problem were also there. And otherwise, meeting went very well. Let me conclude with few lines. Meetings are part and parcel of every organization and club. It's way for members to gather, exchange ideas, share feedback, and learn from each other. Effective club meetings are not difficult to achieve, but they do require skills and structure to pull off. Effective team meeting will help our team deliver quality time and have a better path together. It will always help us to showcase our leadership skills. This is all from my side. Back to General. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmaster Nipun, for your parliamentarian report, and special thanks for those last lines. All right, so it's time to call the active listener who will check your listening skills. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Shivali Chauhan. Over to you, Toastmaster Shivali.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, I'm here with my questions. You just need to raise your hands and unmute yourself to give the answer. I request Toastmaster Karanveer to help me with the names who will be raising their hands. So I'm here with my first question. So I'll start with the easy one. What is the name of today's theme?
We have Toastmaster Divya Gursifat raising hands.
Okay. Toastmaster Gursifat.
The stories we tell ourselves.
Amazing. Thank you. Next, we have second question. In which state was Toastmaster Divya shooting for her song?
We have Karthik, Akshita, Haritika raising
Okay,
hands.
great. So, how about Akshita?
Florida.
Amazing, great. Coming to the third question. So, yeah, what is the name of the special person whom DTM Asim met in 2019?
We have Karthik, Gursifat, Akshita, Gaganjeet raising hands.
Nice. So, I would like to invite Toastmaster Karthik.
The name of the person is Sam.
Great. I think you mentioned this in your report as well.
Yes.
Okay. Great, great. Coming to the next question. Yeah. So, what was the title of Toastmaster Gajendra Sir's speech? I think this is difficult one. Again, come on.
Gaganjeet.
Okay.
We have Gaganjeet raising hand.
Okay, Gaganjeet and who else?
Only Gaganjeet till now. And Karthik as well.
Knows actually. He actually spoke the title now. Okay, Karthik. Anybody else?
We have Kashish also raising his hand.
Oh, great. Yes, Kashish.
Uses of internet don't make it a burden. It was just like that. I'm not accurate.
Okay, not an issue, but this is not the correct one. Okay, so anybody else, or should I call again Karthik? Okay,
Can
no
I?
one?
Sorry.
Yes, Divya.
Empower yourself and get rid of internet addiction.
Spot on. Absolutely correct. Great. Now I'm left with the last question. Okay. So this one is yeah. In which year was DTM Asim working as a content writer?
We have Akshita, Karthik raising hand, and Rajendra Shah as well.
Okay. So yes, Rajendra Shah, Toastmaster Rajesh.
Yeah, so 2018.
Absolutely correct. Yes. So now,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Now we will end this listening session here. I would like to congratulate all the members who gave the right answers because you guys deserve to be called an active listeners of today's meeting. Thank you so much. Back to General Evaluator.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmaster Shivali, and thank you so much for keeping it very crisp and short. And now it's time to call the timer. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Dhwani Gupta.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rishabh. I would like to begin. For starters, I'd like to say that we are running late. So I'll get right to it. Toastmaster Divya took 5 minutes 51 seconds. DTM Asim took 7 minutes 27 seconds. Toastmaster Gajendra took 7 minutes 12 seconds. And the monthly awards session took approximately 3 minutes and 57 seconds. So that was well in time. In the table topic session, Toastmaster Rajendra took 1 minute 7 seconds. Guest Vandit Jain spoke for 1 minute 5 seconds. Guest Hartika Ahuja spoke for 1 minute 38 seconds. Toastmaster Digant Mittal spoke for 2 minutes 11 seconds. Coming to the evaluation session, Toastmaster Rajendra spoke for 1 minute 44 seconds. Toastmaster Janvi spoke for 3 minutes 6 seconds. Toastmaster Digant spoke for 3 minutes 30 seconds. And our table topics evaluator, Toastmaster Karanveer, spoke for 5 minutes 2 seconds. So great job on the timing, everyone. Yet we are still running late. So back to you, Toastmaster Rishabh. Hope you keep it crisp and short. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Timer Dhwani, for such a timely report. And now this was the report by our auxiliary role players, and it's time for the voting of the best auxiliary role player. So hence I would request Toastmaster Karanveer to kindly present the voting balance on the screen. We'll take a small pause here and vote. Let me know, Toastmaster Karanveer, when we are done.
Sure thing. Vote, everyone, please vote. We are at 80% of the votes. We are done with the voting.
All right, thank you so much, Toastmaster Karanveer. I think we also skipped the voting for the best table topics. So it's time for the voting for the best table topic as well. So Toastmaster Karanveer, can you present the ballot for the best table topic speaker as well? So Techmaster, let me know when we are done.
Sure. Vote,
Let me know when we are
vote,
done.
vote, everyone, please vote. 5 more seconds and then we'll close the ballots.
The red card.
We are done with the voting. Thank you.
All right. So again, this is a general evaluator speaking, and the red card has already been signaled, so I'll keep it very short and very crisp. All right. So amazing meeting, wonderful theme. Everyone did their best job. Meeting started on time, brilliantly by the sergeant at arms, and then coming to the president, madam president, she talked about the mental health issues. She raised awareness about the mental health. So kudos to her. And the best way that she very energetically she starts the meeting. So really truly kudos to her. But the only recommendation I have for the madam president, that in the presidential speech, along with a general subject, we can also include the subject, that we can also include the theme of today's meeting. We can just give a hint about the theme of today's meeting. So it would be better for the Toastmaster of the day to further present it to the audience. Moving ahead with the Toastmaster of the day. So Toastmaster of the day was really amazing. I was really glad to hear him after a long time. It was really wonderful to hear him. Amazing manner. He started the meeting in a most amazing manner. He kept it very short and crisp, and he very swiftly, he started with his theme. He shared a few lines, and then he very swiftly shifted to the Toastmaster. He talked about the structure of the meeting. Everything was so much amazing. He make it people to understand that how you can give the feedback by taking a piece of paper, writing on it, and sharing the pick with the speaker. Amazing job. All the basics of the Toastmaster of the day were followed. The framework was completely followed. Ladies and gentlemen, I can really say that if you want to see a perfect Toastmaster of the day, then you can look forward for the Toastmaster Gaganjeet role. Hence, I would request everyone to kindly unmute yourself and have a round of applause for our present Toastmaster of the day for such a brilliant job. All right. Since we are short on time, so I'll keep it very quick. Moving to the table topic master, amazing job. The topics were easy and everyone was able to participate. Moving ahead now, the speech evaluators. Toastmaster Rajendra Shah, the evaluation was very crisp. It was to the point, but the only thing I can say that recommendations were missing somehow. For Toastmaster Janvi Kapoor, amazing, wonderful. CRC was followed and a brilliant evaluation. And moving to the next evaluator, that is Toastmaster Digant Mittal, amazing evaluation. I can definitely say that speaker benefited from an evaluation. To the point recommendations were given. However, being a general evaluator, I have the general recommendation for the speech evaluators, and that is from the last couple of meetings, I'm seeing that the recommendation that the evaluators are giving, they're getting repeated and repeated. The same recommendation regarding the eye contact, the vocal variety, hand gestures, right? So instead of restricting ourselves in the terms of recommendation, when we are talking about the hand gesture, eye contact, try to go a little deep into the speech. Try to comment upon the structure of the speech. Try to comment about the content of the speech. Try to comment whether it was a story type, whether it was a research-based speech, whether it was a monologue. Try to comment whether the conclusion was linked with the content. All I just want to say, instead of being restricting yourself to just vocal variety, eye contact, hand gestures, It's the high time that we shall raise our level, go deeper into the speech, comment upon the content, and let the speaker benefit from the evaluation truly. Moving ahead with the table topic evaluator, Toastmaster Karanvind Singh did a great job. Let me tell you, it's not easy to deliver a table topic. Similarly, it is not easy to deliver to being a table topic evaluator. So, a brilliant job done by the table topic evaluator today. Moving ahead to the auxiliary role player, Toastmaster. So I'll start with the language evaluator first. Amazing job, very specific report, amazingly explained the grammatical errors. But the only thing I would recommend Toastmaster Karthik, being a language evaluator, being a grammarian in the meeting, that you're talking about the good things, you're talking about the bad things, but somehow it got mixed up. Suddenly good things, and then suddenly bad things, and then suddenly not so good things. So the better approach of delivering a language evaluator report is start with the word of the day, tell those name of the people who used that word of the day, then talked about the good things, all the good things, and talk about the bad things, all the bad things, and then in the conclusion at the end. All right, the next was the R counter. All right, very nice report by the R counter today. However, I would recommend to the R counter that do not be specific to the do not be member specific. Instead of saying I would like to start with Toastmaster this or Toastmaster that, just say that these were the number of hours used by these one of the Toastmasters, and simply complete your report instead of being member specific. Moving ahead to the parliamentarian and active listener, both of them, they did a great job. Timer, amazing job. All right, last but not the least, I have once again general recommendation being a general evaluator, and that is, are we really timing the role players? If we are not, it's a high time that we shall start timing every rule. And this is actually easy because it happens sometime that being a role player, we somehow eat up the time of other role player, and at the end we have to rush out. The second thing I would like to recommend to the executive committee, and that is, have we done the induction of the new members? Well, I could really see that there are so many new members joining up in the club. So it's a high time that we shall conduct some orientation or induction of the new members, where we shall be letting them know how to play a role, how to play different auxiliary players role, how to play a role of language evaluator, grammarian, R counter, active listener, how to be a speech evaluator, how to be a Toastmaster of the day. So these are some of the subjects that we can pick up in all that orientation. So this is my small recommendation to our executive committee. Apart from it, it was a wonderful meeting, wonderful members, wonderful role players, and yes, once again, wonderful general evaluator. Thank you so much, everyone. It was really nice really privileged for me to be the general evaluator of today's meeting. Thank you so much, everyone. And back to Toastmaster Gaganjeet Singh, the Toastmaster of the day. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rishabh, for this wonderful session, such an energizing and inspiring session. And not only restricted to that, you also lit some space, some areas for us, for all of us to improve. So keeping with the trend of the meeting, since we're running short on time, I'll keep my concluding remarks really short and crisp. Stories that we tell ourselves. So from the past few weeks, I've been telling some stories to myself. I know that the VP head must have heard those stories a lot from my side, and a lot of other members might be telling us those stories, that I might not be present for the meeting, that I'll not be able to take up this role, or at the end moment I tell the VP that I have to back out. But all the stories that we tell ourselves, that the reasons that we are not able to do certain things, and the reasons that we tell others that we cannot do it, we also know that they are just some shams. Because while we are sitting in the comforts of our home today, as I can see through all of your cameras, I see one Toastmasters among us who has changed 2 locations from his office to now sitting in the metro, and still making sure that he's attending the meeting and carrying out his role. I would like all of us to give him a huge round of applause to appreciate and acknowledge what he's doing and inspiring us while he's doing it. Toastmaster Rajendra Shah, thank you for inspiring us and letting us know that the stories that we tell ourselves are under our control, that we can manage if we want to manage, and that we can do if we want to do. Concluding it, I'd just like to say that be mindful of the stories that you create over here. because those stories are going to create the reality over here. With that note, I would like to pass on the stage and welcome our President, Toastmaster Gursifat. Please help me welcome her.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gaganjeet. I request you all to vote for the best role player. We have Toastmaster Gaganjeet as TMOD. We have TTM as Toastmaster Pooja and General Evaluator as Toastmaster Rishabh Kumar Anand. Really tough competition. Thank you, everyone. So we have the results. Can we open our cameras and unmute ourselves? So the best speaker award goes to, any guesses? Best speaker. Well, the
Yeah.
speaker of the day is Toastmaster Divya Mishra.
Wow.
Best Evaluator award. Any guesses?
Toastmaster Karanveer.
Well, Kartik, you're right. It goes to our district webmaster, Toastmaster Karanveer. Best Table Topic Speaker Award. It goes to someone who has completed more than 4 pathways.
Digant?
You must have guessed it right now. Yes, it goes to Toastmaster Digant. Best Auxiliary Role Player.
Has to be the language evaluator.
Someone who was there to tickle our funny bones. It goes to Toastmaster Kashish Jain.
Oh.
Best Role Player Award.
Toastmaster of the day.
Yes.
Should be the
that-
general evaluator.
Toastmaster of the day.
It goes to Toastmaster Gaganjeet, who was there with the bank. Congratulations, everyone. It was a great meeting. Lovely session conducted by you, Toastmaster Pooja. And it was lovely to have you back, Toastmaster Gaganjeet, after a very long time, I must say. And effective and efficient evaluations by you, Toastmaster Rishabh. A lovely meeting. Let's have a picture. Please open your cameras. Toastmaster Shivali, Toastmaster Divya.
Thank you. I'm sorry for keeping you waited long.
Thank you, everyone. I hereby officially end the meeting. The guests are requested